Thank you, Jeff. Yes, and 1 to 7, I reckon you'll find the winner in this full-up ultra lightweight 125cc race. Reintroduced when Robert won 3 in a row, then Joey took over and won 3, and I think there's only about 2 riders have ever won it apart from the Dunlop brothers. They make it their own virtually. Ian Locker and Mark Baldwin, exceptions perhaps, who have borrowed the trophy just for a year or so. But now Paul Williams on the little 1-2 Honda gets the signal to start, and we're underway with a 4-lap race. The Demon Vimto Honda 125. Number 2, Darren Lindsay, winner of the ultra lightweight Manx Grand Prix a couple of years ago. And now your man himself, Joey, number 3. Listen. Crouched over the tank as he disappears under the Suzuki Bridge, and we turn our attention to younger brother Robert Dunlop, and he looks determined as well. He's got Joey in front of him. He'll be doing his best to catch him. Number 5 now, Ian Locker, last year's winner with the Lloyd's TSB machine in the blue and green livery. Number 6 next, Dennis McCulloch, another man who has been so near winning a TT without quite making it. He's got the Lunny 125 Honda. He comes from Blackskull in Northern Ireland. Number 7 now, Gary Dines, 3rd last year, member of the manufacturers winning team. Honda 125 from Marilyn in Northern Ireland. Number 8, a non-starter, Bruce Anstey. So next will be number 9, Gary Bennett from Preston. He retired last year in the race at Ballahutchin, so he'll be hoping for better things today. He gets the signal and he's away safely. Next will be number 10, James Crumpton with a Watkins Honda 125. Clouds of blue smoke out of that one as she fires up, and he's away safely though. Number 11 now, Noel Clegg on the 125 Honda. Used to live in the Isle of Man, as we told you, but now resides in Rochdale in Lancashire. Number 12, the next starter, is Barry Wood, the local rider from Douglas in the Isle of Man with the Railway Inn Honda, winner of last year's classic lightweight Manx Grand Prix race. Unusual, but it's there. And number 13, it's Russell Henley. Yes, he does fire up eventually. That was the winner of the lightweight Manx Grand Prix not too long ago. Number 14, Phil Harvey. He finished 10th last year. And number 15, just after him, is Mark Tyrrell. He finished 11th last year. They both won silver replicas. Now Neil Richardson with the other Lloyd's TSB Honda. The smart livery again. Leathers to match for Neil Richardson. He's away safely too. Michael Wilcox, 6th last year. The man that Jeff said may just be nibbling around the top 6 again this year. He gets a signal, he's away. Number 18 will be next, and that is Trevor Ritchie. 7th last year and a member of the winning club team. I'm not saying which machines they're on, you'll notice, because they're all Hondas. Number 19, Roy Richardson from Blackpool, winner of the Junior Manx Grand Prix a couple of years ago, now competing in the TT with a big 3 legs of man across his black leathers. Number 20, Alan Bud Jackson, 18th last year, a member of the Jackson clan. 4 brothers all race around the TT course. Number 22 is next, and that will be Ted Roebuck from Evesham. He retired last year at Quarry Bends. Gets the signal to start, and he's away safely. Number 23 is next. And number 21, we noticed Ashley Lord is an additional non-starter. So it's 23 now that goes. 23, Matt Jackson, 15th last year with a bronze replica. We'll take a quick break.
This race commentary is brought to you by Total, the official fuel suppliers for TT 2000. One day you might meet Carl Fogarty. One day you'll find the bike of your dreams. One day you might find that elusive accessory. One day you may find a show that's actually exciting. The new International Scooter and Motorcycle Show, the NEC Birmingham, from the 10th to the 19th November. The ultimate day out.
When you're at the greatest road racing festival in the world, you need the greatest selection of clothing to mark the event. make sure you visit the shopping area behind the grandstand. It's open all day, every day, and you'll find the official TT clothing from fleeces to polos, jackets to caps. Plus, there's refreshments available all day. So stop at the shopping centre behind the grandstand.
Chris Gross, Peter Wakefield and Carl Johan have left. There's Nigel Bish, a newcomer from New Zealand. He's away safely. Number 30 is next. That's Sean Leonard from Dublin. 31, Jimmy Rogers. He comes from Colinchie in Northern Ireland. He's away. Number 32 will be next. Chris Faulkner from Congleton. Finished 28th in this race last year. Number 33 will be next. That's David O'Rourke, 16th last year with a bronze replica from Dublin, but now ahead of the field we go to Motorcycle News Glen Helen.
Yes, indeed, Peter. And who's going to be first on the road after this 9.5-mile dash? We look away towards the left, to the first left-hander, then the right. We can hear a machine approaching. So is this going to be Paul Williams, Darren Lindsay, or even Joey Dunlop? And it's number 2, Darren Lindsay, first on the road at Glen Helen. Very quickly round that long left-hander, followed by 1 and 3. There's Dunlop. So Williams is through, so is Dunlop. The loss of adhesion flag being shown, but it's dry here just at the minute. But certainly first through was Darren Lindsay, followed by Paul Williams and Joey Dunlop in that order as they went through here. Number 4 is next. Robert Dunlop, 5th place for him last year. The marshal's just showing me the board, asking the spectators once again not to use the flash cameras. I know Jeff doesn't necessarily agree with that, but certainly number 5, Ian Locker, last year's winner, also safely through. We'll shuffle the times as soon as we can get them. Another machine interview, and that's a quick approach for number 6, Dennis McCulloch. I would have thought he'd pull back some time there, perhaps on Locker. Dennis McCulloch, who was a retirement last year, I think, at the Bungalow. No, at Ballacrane, in fact. Number 7, Gary Dines, and speculation that, well, the win will come from one of these first 7, but Gary Dines is also safely through here. But the first man on the road was Darren Lindsay, number 2. He was 4th last year. Paul Williams, of course, winner of the 400 race last year. And I think it was expected that the early runners would soon get past Paul. Number 9, Gary Bennett. Gary, I think, was 9th last year. So Darren Lindsay leads on the road, but it won't be long, I think, before Joey Dunlop has got past him. Robert was certainly very quick. I think from sight Dennis McCulloch had pulled up time. 10 there is James Crumpton. So all the first runners are safely through here at Glen Helen after 9.5 miles. And certainly they'll be testing it because they've had the notice that certainly away from here to our left there's certainly been some rain, certainly sprinklings of it, but safely through. And I can tell you it's Dunlop that leads, just looking to Ian. Joey Dunlop leads once again here by 4 seconds, a tremendous margin already. It's his day again, Noel Clegg. The man, as Peter says, used to live here on the Isle of Man, now in Rochdale, and of course many of us did that the other way around, from Rochdale to the Isle of Man. 12 is Barry Wood, first of the locals, so he's safely negotiated that to 9.5 miles. In second place, I can tell you it's joint between Darren Lindsay and Robert Dunlop, but they're 4 seconds down on Joey. 14 is Phil Harvey, 15 and 13 close together. Mark Tyrrell and Russell Henley. Russell retired at Sulby Bridge last year. So Joey Dunlop leads by 4 seconds. Just to Peter, a moment.
Yes, just to the singles class is about to get underway, and there's number 51 Johnny Barton with the 572 Ducati. He's going to get the signal first. We'll just get the first couple away and then check a leaderboard at Glen Helen. Now number 52 Jason Griffiths, Chrysler's AMDM 720 from Ramsey Isle of Man, fastest in practice by the proverbial mile. Could it be Jason's year for a win on the TT course? He's won a Manx Grand Prix, of course, but a TT win would be very popular. Morris.
Yes, indeed, Peter. Yes, we'll update that leaderboard now. Joey Dunlop, as we said, leads by 4 seconds from in second place Darren Lindsay and Robert Dunlop. That's number 19 going through, Roy Richardson. We've also, of course, had some others through, notably Trevor Ritchie and Michael Wilcox have also been through here. In joint 4th place, because it's very tight, this is number 20, Alan Bud Jackson. 18th for him last year. In joint 4th place, we've got Ian Locker, Dennis McCulloch and Gary Dines. We can't actually separate those. So they're ahead then of number 9, Gary Bennett in 7th place, and Paul Williams in 8th place. 23 now, Matt Jackson. So just to repeat that, take this one through first. 22, Ted Roebuck, so Matt Jackson obviously has pulled out time on Ted Roebuck, but it's Joey Dunlop who leads by 4 seconds from number 2 Darren Lindsay and number 4 Robert Dunlop in joint second place. Then moving also up into joint fourth, and we can't separate any of these, in number 17 Michael Wilcox. They're 3 seconds down on joint second place. We've got 5, 6, 7 and 17. That's Locker, McCulloch, Dines and Michael Wilcox. 3 seconds down on the battle for second. 26 now. Another of the locals, Chris Gross. 3 seconds back on that fourth place is in 8th place, number 9 still. We've got Gary Bennett. He's 5 seconds ahead of new 9th place man, number 15, Mark Tyrrell. Mark Tyrrell in turn 4 seconds up on now new 10th place man, Paul Williams. So just to go through those again, it's Joey Dunlop leading by 4 seconds from Darren Lindsay, number 2, Robert Dunlop, number 4. Then 3 seconds further back on that is a real battle for 4th place. We can't separate. 5 Ian Locker, 6 Dennis McCulloch, 7 Gary Dines, that's 27 going through Peter Wakefield, and 17 the highest there, Michael Wilcox in that joint 4th place. 3 seconds up in 8th place now, number 9 Gary Bennett. Further 5 seconds down on that, number 15 is Mark Tyrrell. 29 now is Nigel Bish, newcomer to the TT. So we've given you 9th place, number 15, I think, Mark Tyrrell. In 10th place, 4 seconds behind Mark Tyrrell, is number 1, Paul Williams. 28 is Carl Johan, another of the newcomers to the course. Another machine interview, round the right-hander. Number 32, that's gingerly there, Chris Faulkner. Followed by number 30 and 31. So Sean Leonard and Jimmy Rogers have negotiated this 9.5 miles, and obviously difficult sections there through Greba particularly, and up from Ballacrane, where there's obviously been some dampness at least. Don't quite know how wet it is, but on this first lap most of these riders taking it very carefully indeed and sussing it out, and it looks as though this is going to work in Joy's favour once again. 35, John Vincent. So amazingly, the news, as it has been in the other 2 solo races that we've had already on Saturday and on Monday, the news from Glen Helen once again is that Joey Dunlop leads this race on the first lap after 9.5 miles by 4 seconds from Darren Lindsay, who was first on the road, but by now that could well be Joey. Jointly in that second place is number 4, Robert Dunlop, but then it's a real scrap in the 1-2-5s, and that's not surprising because we cannot separate in 4th place numbers 5, 6, 7 and 17. They're followed by 9, 23, 15, 26 and 1. With that, back to the Motorcycle News grandstand.
This race commentary is brought to you by Total, the official fuel suppliers for TT 2000.
She's perfect. Great body, awesome curves, so sleek. And what a mover. And she does 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds.
When there's more than one passion in your life, Motorcycle News, full of bikes to fall in love with, out every Wednesday. Come rain or shine, the venue on the Central Prom in Douglas guarantees the hottest TT action. Happy hours, 2 live bands every night, racing action with TT and British Superbike stars, plus the fair biker babes, bringing some very warm fronts and other bits your way. So for the ultimate storming TT party experience, get into the venue tonight.
We noticed that number 72 was an additional non-starter, but number 76, Carl Wilkie, who was posted as a non-starter, has actually started. Now, Ramsey Hairpin, Motorcycle News.
Well, if the weather reports were correct, then they should now be on the complete dry roads once they had left the Glen Helen section. We're waiting on the first man. The flag goes out. Not much damp, there's just a little bit of damp, and it's Yellow Helmet that leads. It's got to be himself. It is Joey D. He's passed now Lindsay in that... well, there's a bit of a Nibbles boys. There he is. He's there in second place, Darren Lindsay on the Nibbles Catering Honda. So Joey now leads on the road, and what a familiar story that is from Saturday, is it not? Number 3, William Joseph, 25 times the TT winner, now leads on the road. We wait for... and that gap, now Robert is quite a bit behind, I would say, by 10 seconds. Robert's gone back 10 seconds. Now, what about Lindsay? But certainly the advantage over, and they're both 10 seconds back, so they cannot be separated, so they're equal second again. Joey Dunlop. Now, coming down, that's Paul Williams that's tipped off here. Paul Williams just slides the Stuart East and Vimto Honda onto its side as numbers 5 and 6 go through. That's Ian Locker and Dennis McCulloch. Paul Williams, he's okay. It was a gentle get off, but the scrutineers, the marshals want to check the machine out. He just gently, he's just saying, yeah, what do I do? Can I go? There's number 7 going through there. That's Gary Dines, and they're going to let him start. I think the Vimto got a little bit of a fizz up. It blew the cork, and he just gently laid it down on its side here at the hairpin. Listen to this, he's about to start. So the Kiwi is away, so we can now confirm that number 3 Joey Dunlop is 10 seconds clear of it. Again, still equals second to Darren Lindsay, and number 4 Micro, Joey's younger brother. Now the next one up toward us now is number 9. No surprise, Gary Bennett's on the leaderboard. He was the leading here at Ramsey Hairpin last year, and he's a very, very neat rider, is little Diddy Gary Bennett. So in third place then, that's first, second, third. In fourth place then, we've got number 6, and that is Dennis the Menace, Dennis McCulloch, the 6 times Irish champion. Dennis McCulloch is 6th, but he is just 1 second down on the dicing duo of Lindsay and Robert Dunlop. There's number 10, that is James Crumpton, 31 years of age last week, celebrating his birthday here on the Isle of Man. The board comes from Starport on 7. In 5th place, we can now shuffle in number 7, Gary Dines, the current 250 Irish champion. Gary Dines, 3 seconds down on McCulloch. So we've got number 3, Joey Dunlop, 10 seconds up on joint second, number 2, Darren Lindsay, and number 4, Robert Micro Dunlop, who in turn are just 1 second ahead of number 6, Dennis McCulloch. He in turn 3 seconds up on number 7, Gary Dines, and Dines in turn is 7 seconds up on last year's winner, Ian Locker. That is the number 11 machine of Noel Clegg, the Hell-powered bike assist machine of Noel Clegg, having his first ride since he crashed here at Griever Castle last year. But I think we can go back and join Morris down there at Glen Helen.
Yes, indeed, Fred, where I can give you the first few in the singles, and I can tell you that the leader is number 56, John McGuinness, on that Chrysalis AMDM by 5 seconds, but no, surprisingly, not from Jason Griffiths, but from number 54, Steve Linsdell, on the Flitwick Yamahas, who's in second place. He's 6 seconds ahead of number 52, Jason Griffiths. So maybe the conditions on that first 9.5 miles are playing a part, that's for sure. Number 52 then, Jason Griffiths is 7 seconds up on fourth place man, number 51, John Barton. In fact, we're just changing that as we move up number 59, I think, into that slot. 59, Bill Swallow is in actually fourth place, 6 seconds down on number 52, Jason Griffiths. But the news from Glen Helen in the singles is that the leader is number 56, John McGuinness. In second place, number 54, Steve Linsdell. 5 seconds down on McGuinness, but 6 seconds ahead of 52, Jason Griffiths. Griffiths, in turn, 6 seconds ahead now of 59, Bill Swallow, who has a 1 second advantage over numbers 51 John Barton and 58 Steve Day. With that, back to you, Fred, at Ramsey.
Yes, the interesting thing there, of course, is that we know that Bill Swallow and John Barton are going to go through. They will not stop to take on fuel, so they're going to save at least 30 seconds, if not more than that, when the rest of the boys, and we know that the two big four-stroke machines, the AM and DMs of Jason Griffiths and John McGuinness, will be going into the pits to take on fuel. Right, let's get back to the 125s here at Ramsey, and we had a tremendous short-circuit dice come up to us a moment or two ago. It's Phil Harvey, Mark Tyrrell, and number 17, Michael Wilcox on the Graham Adams Honda. He's moving up all the time as Michael Wilcox. We're going to shuffle him in. Yes, he's shuffled in 6th place. So we had in 4th position Dennis McCulloch. 3 seconds back on him was number 7, Gary Dines. 5 seconds ahead of number 17, Michael Wilcox, and that was self-evident, the pace that Michael Wilcox was showing. Wilcox now 2 seconds up on last year's winner and lap record holder, number 5, Ian Locker. Behind Ian Locker, it is then rider number 9, and that is Gordon Bennett. He is 7 seconds down. Well, it's not Gordon, it's actually his brother Gary. Gary Bennett, number 9, who's in 8th position. So let's just slowly recap on this. Well, we'll just take this next rider up toward us. A neat approach here coming in from Alan Bud Jackson. And as you would expect, a neat rider. He's been around here so many times. So we have then number 3, Joey Dunlop, leading by 10 seconds from equal second, number 2, Darren Lindsay, and number 4, Robert Dunlop, who is 1 second ahead only, ahead of fourth man, number 6, Dennis McCulloch. It is then 3 seconds back, number 7, Gary Dines. 5 seconds back in 6th position, number 17, Michael Wilcox. And then it will be 5, 9, 26 and 23 rounding out the top 10. So with Joey Dunlop, these 10 seconds ahead of that equal second place of Lindsay and Robert Dunlop. It's going to be close when they come through to complete the first flying lap. We go ahead to get them at the 13 miles ahead with the Motorcycle News Grandstand.
This race commentary is brought to you by Total, the official fuel suppliers for TT2000. Come and meet all the Yamaha stars at Road and Track this Thursday the 8th. Michael Rutter, Jason Griffith, Steve Hislop and David Jeffries will all be there. Make sure you are. Plus, there's a fantastic free prize draw to win the brand spanking new Yamaha Slider. Be there. Road and Track Motorcycles, June the 8th, Tynwald Street, Douglas.
Profis fahren Arai. Arai-Helme, weltweit die Nummer 1. Holt euch eure Arai-Helme in Deutschland in allen Goto-Helm-Studios. Übrigens, Goto-Helm-Studio und die Freizeitidee bieten super Reisetouren für euren nächsten Inseltrip an. Arai, there's a difference.
One day, you might meet Carl Fogarty. One day, you'll find the bike of your dreams. One day, you might find that elusive accessory. One day, you may find a show that's actually exciting. The new International Scooter and Motorcycle Show, the NEC Birmingham from the 10th to the 19th November. The ultimate day out.
Joey is on his way. The light over number 3. Appropriately for him, it's green, and he is through Cronknamona and down to complete the first lap of this 4-lap, 150.92-mile ultra-lightweight race. And pleased to say, and I'm saying this with fingers crossed, looking at the scoreboards, not a single retirement so far in either of the races, either the ultra-lightweight or the singles. Number 4, Robert Dunlop, also indicated at Cronknamona, as is number 2, Darren Lindsay. But Joey leading on the road once again from his favoured number 3 position on the grid. As we mentioned, he'd be number 6 in the senior. He was 6th fastest in practice, so he'll have a number 6 on the bike on Friday afternoon. But it's number 3 today we're looking for. A board is held out. He must be in view. We can hear him. Yes, here he is, Joey, flat out. Now, 123.6 miles an hour across the total MEA speed trap, 123.6. Here's Robert. I stopped my watch on 13 seconds, so that would make... Sorry, Darren Lindsay. I stopped my watch on 13 seconds, so Joey is increasing his lead. Now, Robert should be next, or is he... Yep, we expect the green and white, but that's number 4. Safely through. Just checking some times now, and no time's up on the computer as yet, but we do have an unofficial time that the time difference between number 3 and number 4 is up to 21 seconds. And here's a battle now. McCulloch and Locker. 120, so Joey's 123 on the little 125. Would appear to be certainly the fastest so far. And lap time's coming up now, and we can tell you as number 7 goes through, and number 7 is Gary Dines. Joey had an opening lap of 20 minutes 51.1, 108.56. Number 2, Darren Lindsay, 21:13.9, 106.62. The difference between them, 22.8 seconds. 22.8 seconds, Joey leads. Now, will Robert pop in to interrupt those? We'll check now, and we can tell you he does, but he's 20.8 seconds down now. It's amazing. Number 3, Joey Dunlop, leads by 20.8 seconds at the end of the first lap from his brother, number 4, Robert Dunlop, with in third place just 2 seconds down, number 2, and that is Darren Lindsay. So 3, 4 and 2, and an opening lap for Joey at 108.56. That's number 9 circulating past now, and that is Gary Bennett. Further time, in fact, number 6 has moved up on our screen into second place. That's number 6. Dennis McCulloch is in second place, 18 seconds down on Joey Dunlop, and 2.8 seconds ahead of number 4, Robert Dunlop, relegating Darren Lindsay to 4th place. In 5th place at the moment we have number 7, and that is Gary Dines. Number 10 circulates past, that's James Crumpton, and in 6th place we have number 5, but of course we're waiting for the time for number 17, Michael Wilcox, who is indicated at Cronknamona. So the leader then, Joey Dunlop, has an 18-second advantage over number 6, Dennis McCulloch, at the end of the opening lap, and Dennis in turn 2.8 seconds ahead of number 4, Robert Dunlop, who has a 2-second advantage over number 2, Darren Lindsay. Let's take a quick break.
This race commentary is brought to you by Total, the official fuel suppliers for TT2000.
If you enjoy the unmistakable feeling of speed, power, and the freedom of riding to the absolute limit, order your copy of Duke's official TT 2000 video review now, and we'll send it to you post-free. All the best action, interviews, and on-bike footage coming soon on video and DVD. Duke Video, behind the TT Grandstand in Castle Street, Douglas, and on the internet at dukevideo.com.
Looking for number 17 to see if he's slotted in.
The tests, the analysis, and you can get it all a day before anyone else. Motorcycle News. Get the TT Special Edition here on the Isle of Man on Tuesday.
Still waiting for the time of number 17 to be drotted in, but it's 3, 6, 4, 2 and 7 definitely, and that's the order at the end of the first lap. And an opening lap, once again, just repeat, 20 minutes, 51.1, 108.56. Quickly now, I think if we can get the leaders in the singles class from Motorcycle News, Ramsey Hairpin.
Yes, and it's good news for the Chrysalis AMDM squad because they are in positions 1 and 2. John McGuinness, number 56, leading Jason Griffiths, number 52, by 25 seconds. These two are just 11 seconds up on the Ducati Supermono of number 51, John Barton. Barton is 6 seconds up on number 59, and that is Bill Swallow, who is just 1 second up on number 54, Steve Linsdell. He, in turn, 4 seconds up on number 58, Steve Day. So it's 56, 52, 51, 59, 54, 58, the top 6 at Ramsey Hairpin. We go back to join Peter Neal at the Motorcycle News Grandstand.
Yes, and number 17 is slotted in now, Michael Wilcox, in 7th position. So it's Joey Dunlop from Dennis McCulloch, from Robert Dunlop, from Darren Lindsay, then number 7, Gary Dines, number 5, Ian Locker, and number 17, Michael Wilcox. That's the top 7 at the end of the opening lap. So the Chrysalis out in front, and it'll be interesting because they're being pursued by the two bikes who are not going to come in for fuel, as we understand it, Johnny Barton and Bill Swallow. Well, they've got a 25-second lead, so that shouldn't make too much difference, but it'll be interesting to see as we go to Motorcycle News, Glen Helen.
Spot on time, Peter, because there's that man in the yellow helmet. Once again, it seems repetitious, but it's Dunlop and Honda we keep talking about. Joey Dunlop well clear on the roads, and well, absolutely amazing, isn't it? He was 27th last year. He stopped at Ballacrane, made some adjustments, had trouble with the 125 last year. There's number 2, Darren Lindsay. 4th for him last year, and I think holding on at the moment to 3rd place on the corrected time. Perhaps number 6, Dennis McCulloch, is the one to watch. He was a retirement last year at Ballacrane, but obviously going better for the moment at least, but there's no answer to Dunlop for sure. 4, Robert Dunlop. And as he said, somebody's going to have to stop him, but it doesn't look as though they're going to do it today. Certainly not this morning. Joey Dunlop clear here at Glen Helen. We'll shuffle the times in as soon as we can, so despite the difficult conditions, there's number 6, Dennis McCulloch, the man we were looking for. Dennis, who's now got ahead of Ian Locker. He'd caught him up, I think, towards the grandstand, in fact, but now clear of him. So Ian Locker, last year's winner, not quite on the pace, and there's really no answer to Joey. His advantage over number 6 is extended. It's 21 seconds. He's pulling it out even further. Gary Dines through here as we get a little bit of sunshine, which hopefully will help to dry those damp patches that exist in this first 9.5 mile run, and that will only serve to quicken the pace. So to what extent the varying tyre choices that obviously riders and teams have made have affected the outcome of this, only time will tell. But Joey, with 25 wins, going for number 26 now, and he leads here by 21 seconds over number 6, Dennis McCulloch, who's in that 2nd place. 4 seconds ahead of 3rd place man, number 4, Robert Dunlop. That's a little bit extended on the time at the grandstand. I think that was 2.8, so about a second or so been pulled out there. So the gap's now beginning to appear. But the biggest gap is up front with Joey Dunlop, 21 seconds up on number 6, Dennis McCulloch. Another machine interview round the right-hander into the long left. Number 9 going well, Gary Bennett. Swings it round there up the long, very wide line he took there, but safely through. Number 9, Gary Bennett, up towards Craig Willis. In improving condition, certainly for the moment, but it's changeable. In 4th place, number 2 and 7, Darren Lindsay, together with Gary Dines. We can't separate them. They're 4 seconds down on number 4, Robert Dunlop. There's number 1, Paul Williams, after that little excursion at Ramsey. He'll take that a little more gingerly, if that's possible, when he gets up there with Fred, and a bit of excitement there, but he's safely through Glen Helen for lap 2. Of course, I suspect there'll be pit stops at the end of this lap for the 1-2-5s, and there'll be interest there, but 21 seconds the advantage for Joey Dunlop, and knowing that the Honda guys in the pit there are so efficient, he really should be well away with it. 2 and 7 in 4th place. We've got those. Let's just repeat: Darren Lindsay and Gary Dines. They are 7 seconds up on Ian Locker, number 5, who's in the 5th place. We say Ian Locker, last year's winner, and of course Lapid record holder. Unlikely we'll see those broken in this particular race. 17, Michael Wilcox. Now he is going well. Up on leaderboard in 7th place. I think we had him in that position here on the first lap. 14, I think Phil Harvey there. 10th for him last year. And 15, close behind him, Mark Tyrrell. He was also at the edge of that leaderboard. They're ahead of number 11, Noel Clegg. We mentioned him, the Rochdalian. Noel Clegg, I think, slipped off at Greba last year. But it's Dunlop who leads the ultra-lightweight 1-2-5s. Joey Dunlop, 21 seconds up on Dennis McCulloch in 2nd place. He's 4 seconds ahead of number 4, Robert Dunlop, who in turn has a 4-second advantage over 4th place men. Number 2, Darren Lindsay and Gary Dines. We can't separate them, but they're 7 seconds ahead of number 5, Ian Locker. Number 16 now is Neil Richardson. In 7th place, maintaining that position, Michael Wilcox, but he's 8 seconds down on Ian Locker. So the gaps, as I say, beginning to appear, none more so than up the front with Joey Dunlop. 18 and 23 in close proximity there, 23 flying round there. That's Matt Jackson. He looked pretty good on the first lap here, because he got ahead of the man who started just in front of him, Ted Roebuck, but he's certainly climbing up, and we'll have to watch that. Number 23 looked to be going particularly quickly, Matt Jackson. He was, I think, 15th last year, and currently we have him in fact in 8th place, Ian just shows me, but he's 11 seconds down on number 17, Michael Wilcox. Number 19, Roy Richardson, 13th for him last year, looking for a leaderboard position. And number 13, Russell Henley, looking to go better than his retirement at Sulby Bridge last year, but behind him is number 26, so he was to pull up time, Chris Gross, the local man who retired last year at Parliament Square, but I don't think he's quite on the leaderboard pace. But Matt Jackson certainly is moving up into that 8th place, so one to watch. 22 now is Ted Roebuck. That's the one who started 10 seconds ahead of number 23, Matt Jackson. But the news from Glen Helen lap 2, it's an extended advantage for Joey Dunlop. He's 21 seconds ahead of Dennis McCulloch in 2nd place. 4 seconds further back on that is Robert Dunlop. Then 4 seconds further back on that, number 2, Darren Lindsay, 7, Gary Dines. In 6th place, number 5, Ian Locker. Then it's 17, 23, 9 and 26. With that, back to the Motorcycle News Grandstand.
This race commentary is brought to you by Total, the official fuel suppliers for TT2000. Come and meet all the Yamaha stars at Road and Track this Thursday the 8th. Michael Rutter, Jason Griffith, Steve Hislop and David Jeffries will all be there. Make sure you are. Plus, there's a fantastic free prize draw to win the brand spanking new Yamaha Slider. Be there. Road and Track Motorcycles, June the 8th, Tynwald Street, Douglas.
Profis fahren Arai. Arai-Helme, weltweit die Nummer 1. Holt euch eure Arai-Helme in Deutschland in allen Goto-Helm-Studios. Übrigens, Goto-Helm-Studio und die Freizeitidee bieten super Reisetouren für euren nächsten Inseltrip an. Arai, there's a difference.
Come and meet all the Yamaha stars at Road and Track this Thursday the 8th. Michael Rutter, Jason Griffith, Steve Hislop and David Jeffries will all be there. Make sure you are. Plus, there's a fantastic free prize draw to win the brand spanking new Yamaha Slider. Be there. Road and Track Motorcycles, June the 8th, Tynwald Street, Douglas.
Après le premier tour, selon les chronos, en tête le numéro 3, Joey Dunlop, 18 secondes d'avance sur le numéro 6, Dennis McCulloch. Lui, 2,8 Sekunden d'avance sur le numéro 4, Robert Dunlop. Peter.
Dankeschön, Mavis. Es führt in der 125er Klasse Start Nummer 3 Joey Dunlop mit 18 Sekunden vor. Start Nummer 6 Dennis McCulloch. Dennis McCulloch hat 2,8 Sekunden Vorsprung vor Start Nummer 4 Robert Dunlop. Wieder zurück zu Peter Neal, bitte.
The order at the end of lap 1 for the singles: number 56 John McGuinness is 29.1 seconds ahead of number 52 Jason Griffiths. Jason in turn 18.9 seconds ahead of number 51 Johnny Barton, who is 15 seconds ahead of number 59 Bill Swallow. Number 54, we're told, That is Steve Lindsell, retired at Craig Nabar, requires picking up there. We're now going straight away to Ramsey Hairpin Motorcycle News Spot,
where eyes look down towards Stadamaris, awaiting upon the arrival of the Silver Fox and the programme's wave. Here he comes, the yellow helmet. The border held out to Joey. He keeps an eye on the track in front. Now just peels it away, left-handed on the bubble. Straight on the pipe. Once he can see the clear track, and I must say now it is just about bone dry running up that sweeping right-hander, that second right-hander that will take them then on toward Waterworks. The Ramsey to Ramsey, would you have it? Well, if that goes through on a flying lap, it would be 0.1 of a second inside the lap record, 20:43.1. There is number 2, Darren Lindsay, and what a good ride Darren Lindsay is having, the senior newcomer Manx Grand Prix winner, the ultra-lightweight Manx Grand Prix winner a couple of years ago. But Ramsey to Ramsey, 20 minutes 43.1. That is just 0.1 of a second inside the class lap record. There's Micro on the Crossan motorcycles, that unique riding style with the left thumb operated front brake, now second nature to Robert. We're waiting on this man here though, Dennis the Menace. Now let's look to that, stop the watch now on Dennis the Menace. Rides on the Paget's machine, is not the Lunny Honda, he's got a Paget's fairing on there, whether it's just the Paget's fairing, but that is 52.2, take away 30 seconds, 22.2, so he's increased that by a further 1 second. Not such a large increase. Number 5, that is the Lloyd's TSB, the distinctive blue and green of Lloyd's TSB. That was Ian Locker. Number 7, Gary Dines, the next rider interview with the Royal Hotel entered Honda, the current 250 Irish champion. So we have 22.2 seconds, 22 seconds we're going to round it down to. Joey Dunlop maintains his lead, but not such a great increase. That was just 1 second effectively on the 15-mile run from Maurice Morsley down there at Motorcycle News at Glen Helen to the start of the mountain climb. It's 13 miles now. Well, not all up in the air, because he'll be going up toward the highest point on the circuit, which is up there at Brandywell, and from there it'll be the drop down. That'll be about 31.5, coming on to 32 miles before the drop down shortly, and then in toward the 32nd milestone. But we can tell you that it is Dunlop 22 seconds up on McCulloch, who is 7 seconds up on Robert Dunlop, 4 seconds up on number 7 Dines, who is 2 seconds up on Lindsay. We'll come back to that in a moment, but quickly to Maurice Morsley at Motorcycle News, Glen Helen.
Yes, indeed, Fred, but I can tell you in the singles, 56 John McGuinness continues to lead by 36 seconds from 52 Jason Griffiths. He in turn is 23 seconds ahead of number 51 John Barton. So it's the AMDMs 1 and 2, but it's McGuinness who leads by 36 seconds from Griffiths, with John Barton 23 seconds further back on that. Over to you, Fred.
Yeah, certainly the next time they come past you, Morris, it's going to be a slightly different order, because one would anticipate McGuinness and Jason going in with the AMDM 720s to take on gas, and Barton will go sailing through. So 1-2-5s then, let's just go. We got Joey Dunlop, 22 seconds up on number 6 Dennis the Menace McCulloch. He in turn is 7 seconds up on the third man, that's number 4 Robert Dunlop. Robert is 4 seconds up on number 7 Gary Dines, who's holding 4th place. In 5th place, 2 seconds down on Dines, is number 2 Darren Lindsay. Lindsay in turns 10 seconds up on the 6th place rider, number 5 Ian Locker. There's our faller from that earlier, that's a bit better. Paul Williams. Well, about the flying Kiwi, it was the old scrobbling Kiwi on the hands and knees when he came in there with the Stuart Easton Demon Vimto Honda. He, of course, running on intermediate tyres, we heard, and that could be what might just have caught him out, running on the intermediate tyres. Number 17, Michael Wilcox on the Dunlop tyres, backed by Graham Adams, a man who builds refrigerated trucks. Had a good 5th place at the Northwest, did the 33-year-old Michael Wilcox. He's 33, but I tell you what, bus conductors in Douglas, beware of him. He looks so young, he can travel at half price on the buses. Number 14, Phil Harvey. Well, who can we shuffle into 7th place? Number 17 goes into that 7th place, and that is Michael Wilcox. He is 15 seconds down on Ian Locker. There is the Hellfire Bike Assist entry of Noel Clegg. And you're absolutely right, Morris, down there at Glen Helen. He did have a big off at Greba Castle on the second lap of the 125, and for his troubles there, he had a free flight in the helicopter to Nobles, and this, for Noel Clegg, is his first race back since that crash at Greba Castle those 12 months ago. Joey Dunlop maintaining that advantage. Well, if we look to it, it was on the first commentary point, 4 seconds, then here at Ramsey, 10 seconds, 18 seconds at the start, 21 seconds, so it's stabilising down now. It could well be that Joe is just pacing himself now, as we've got Neil Richardson on the second of those beautifully prepared Lloyd's TSB Manning Hondas going through, and Bennett gets shuffled into 8th place. Number 9, Gary Bennett, now shuffled into 8th position, and he is 18 seconds down on number 17, Michael Wilcox. Joey Dunlop, he's been gone quite some time, and he'll be heading on. Now, is this the lap? He's going to come in and make a rather sizable deposit for the Chancellor of the Exchequer and take on a couple of gallons of petrol before he goes out onto the final 2 laps. You never know with Joe whether it's going to be a 2-2 or a 3-1. It's going to be a splash and dash on the last lap. I'm sure that Jeff Cannell is already down there awaiting on some sort of action that will surely be coming his way very, very soon. So finally, before we go back to the start-finish line, as Chris Gross goes through there, I can tell you that it was 22 seconds Joey Dunlop's advantage over number 6 McCulloch. He was 7 seconds ahead of Robert Dunlop, who is 4 seconds up on number 7 Gary Dines. Rounding out the top 6 in 5th place, number 2 Darren Lindsay, 2 seconds down on Dines, but 10 seconds ahead of the 6th man, number 5 Ian Locker. That's it, lap number 2 at Ramsey Hairpin. We move on to Motorcycle News Grandstand.
This race commentary is brought to you by Total, the official fuel suppliers for TT2000.
If you enjoy the unmistakable feeling of speed, power, and the freedom of riding to the absolute limit, order your copy of Duke's official TT2000 video review now, and we'll send it to you post-free. All the best action, interviews, and on-bike footage coming soon on video and DVD. Duke Video, behind the TT Grandstand in Castle Street, Douglas, and on the internet at dukevideo.com.
Come rain or shine, the venue on the Central Prom in Douglas guarantees the hottest TT action. Happy hours, 2 live bands every night, racing action with TT and British Superbike stars, plus the fair biker babes, bringing some very warm fronts and other bits your way. So for the ultimate storming TT party experience, get into the venue tonight.
The top 4 speeds through the Total MEA speed trap at the end of lap 1. Robert Dunlop was fastest at 124.4, Joey 123.6, Darren Lindsay 123, and Dennis McCulloch 120.1. Those were the fastest through the speed trap. Riders less fortunate, I can tell you that Joey is at Cronknamona. Number 10, James Crumpton, retired at Quarterbridge. Number 37, Jane Perrett from New Zealand, retired at Ballacrane. Number 41, Stephen John, retired at Gorse Lee, just before Ballacrane. They all require picking up. And number 45, Jason Easton, came off at Ballacrane, taken to Nobles with possible major fractures. That's number 45, Jason Easton, off at Ballacrane, taken to hospital with possible major fractures. But now we turn our attention to the pits, and Joey's team, led by Davy Wood, down there below us, just waiting for the first glimpse we see of the Flying Irishman. Number 3, Joey Dunlop. We can't see, but we'll listen for the sound. These, of course, are a lot quieter than the bigger bikes. We could hear them virtually coming out of Governor's Bridge. But any second now, here he comes into view, and we go down to Jeff.
Yes, here comes the great man, 22 seconds advantage at Ramsey, and going for his 26th victory. Into the stop box, he comes right to the right-hand side, rather unusually, and whips it up to the pits here, right by me, and start the watch to see how long it takes to refuel a winning 125, or a leading 125 as it is at the moment. The front wheel goes up on a block of wood to make sure that the tank is absolutely full. There's no rear wheel change. Joey doesn't change his helmet. In fact, it's... Oh, there's fuel everywhere there, and up over the wooden block he goes, and that was about 17 seconds. Well, not the smoothest, but not bad. And now, number 2, Darren Lindsay into the stop box. Hard on with the front brake and stops, foot down. Just stopped, I would say. I think Kevin Coker will let him off. Robert Dunlop now. And they whip in down here, and it's Robert who's at the rear of these two now. Darren Lindsay ahead of him.
4 seconds down.
And of course it's Robert 4 seconds down on McCulloch, who comes here now, whipping right past my back. And the fact the 3 bikes are in a row here, tight for space actually. Robert Dunlop set to go. Monza fuel cap down, some fuel on the windscreen, but that'll blow away very shortly. McCulloch is here, and away goes Lindsay. McCulloch taking a drink, and into the box comes Locker, who's dropped a bit of time, and also number 7. Dines, and they're together in the centre of the pits almost. There's fuel everywhere here, including on my shoes, but away goes number 6. Dennis McCulloch, Locker a bit off the pace though compared to what he'd like. Just checking the rear suspension actually. And the pressure's on. Ahead of him, Gary Dines, just looking to see if there's anything wrong. No. And ready to go, want to drink? No, he says. Fuel's in. Off the box it goes. Well, it's actually an old plastic bottle, but it's near enough. and they're all away, but there's a problem for Locker. He has a screw-in fuel tank cap, but he gets away, but he's not going to win today. And can the amazing Tim O'Hanlon have sorted that lot out? It's beyond me, but Joey came and went in about 17 or 18 seconds, and now leads. Is that after the pit stops, Tim?
29 seconds after the pit stops.
McCulloch second.
McCulloch is second, 3 seconds ahead of Robert Dunlop, and Robert Dunlop is 8 seconds ahead of Gary Dines.
Okay, so those fuel stops are over, but there's a lot of fuel sloshing about there as it came up. It's all fingers and thumbs, of course, as we await the next group. Then, of course, we'll have some of the singles stopping, but not all. Number 9 then, Gary Bennett. He's right down in the centre of the pits, and he pulls in tidily there. On his own, the back wheel high in the air as he lashes the front brake on there. It's a bit of a party trick, and does carry the risk of emptying you over the front of the handlebars, but if you know what you're doing, you lean back just as you do it. And, of course, the singles will go roaring through now. Barton and company, but the BMWs will come in. Fred at Ramsey.
Yeah, I can tell you, Jeff, that John McGuinness, his advantage now is 46 seconds, a further 10 seconds from Glenn Helen. 46 seconds, John McGuinness over his teammate, number 52, that is Jason Griffiths. He is 32 seconds up on John Barton, 56, 52, 51, and 20 seconds back in fourth place, and he's going to go straight through, remember. That is Bill Swallow. So it's McGuinness by 46 seconds from Griffiths, who is 32 seconds up on John Barton and 20 seconds up on Swallow, but the third and fourth riders will go straight through. Back to you, Jeff, at the Motorcycle News pit lane.
Yeah, but it won't make any difference because there's 78 seconds. They can easily refuel in that, so the idea of a non-stop run will be negated. I'm sure that McGuinness and Griffiths will finish 1-2 as regards the fueling arrangements. As number 17, the talented Michael Wilcox comes in here, and also coming in, number 1, let's see what damage was caused to the Vimto Honda with that trip off at Ramsey hairpin for Paul Williams, the New Zealander. Doesn't seem to be anything, actually, just a bit of a scrape, but nothing whatever. It would be the left-hand side, I should imagine, that we'd have to look at. Scrutineers checking it over, and doesn't seem to be any damage at all. As number 11 comes in here, and 15, and that's Noel Clegg and Mark Tyrrell. And the little Vimto Honda, oh, there's not room for it round there. He has to back it up a bit, and it's not keen to start. Number 1 is not getting going too easily. Now it goes. And for 15, Mark Tyrrell, front wheel high in the air to make sure the tank level can take every drop for the second 2 laps. Here's number 23 now into the pits, and that's Matt Jackson. And he's going to be out. And mercifully, he just makes it in front of Tyrrell as 16 whips into the pits here. Neil Richardson on the Lloyd's TSB machine. I'm very pleased to say my account's assisting with that at the bank down there, and it's nice to see the livery of that concern being associated with this machine. Here's 18 flat in the tank, and that's only going down to his pits. Behind the screen going down the pit lane, Trevor Ritchie. But at the pits, Neil Richardson, 8th, I think, in the 250. And he is really calm. And there's fuel slopping everywhere, including under the seat, though. You've got to keep it off the twist grips and the clutch levers. Oh, where's the rider coming here now? Watch this. Whoa, that's close. One waits for the other. Luckily, Chris Gross saw Richardson getting away and waited for him as we go on now to Boris Maudsley, Motorcycle News, Glen Helen.
Yes, thanks, Jeff. We await the arrival of the yellow-helmeted Joey Dunlop following those pit stops and see if we can get you the time differences as they've been affected by that fuel. But here he is. There's the man. Brilliant, isn't it? Same line all the time. The proverbial sixpence, I suppose, and I'm sure that's true all the way around this 37 3/4 mile circuit. So well does he know it, and well, conditions definitely in his favour, but nonetheless, what a brilliant ride. Going for win number 26, and could it be 3 in a row for him? Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, conditions continuing to improve here. Roads continuing to dry. The loss of adhesion flag now has been removed. It's not being held there on this particular section, so I can only assume that towards here also conditions must have improved through the tricky Greba and Glen Helen sections. Next machine interview is that of number 4, Robert. So it's Dunlop 1 and 2 on the road. And Robert Dunlop also safely through here. Followed by number 2, Darren Lindsay. So the positions on the road remain constant. Now we await the arrival of number 6, Dennis McCulloch. And he's here now. So he's not far behind Darren Lindsay on the road, but he's certainly going to have to get past both Darren Lindsay and, I suspect, Robert Dunlop if he's going to make any inroads into that lead that Joey had. With some 20-odd seconds at the end of lap 2. I'm just looking towards Ian to see if we can get you a time differential between Joey Dunlop, who still leads here, lap 3 at Glen Helen. Number 7 is now here, Gary Dines. Having a good run, Gary, and on the edge of the leaderboard. I think he was in round about 4th place when I say on the edge of it. So number 5, Ian Locker, not having such a good run today. And notable, I think, that he was well down on pace at both the laps, both first and second. But I can tell you that the advantage is 28 seconds now that Joey Dunlop has over number 6, Dennis McCulloch. 28 seconds his advantage following those pit stops. And he continues to extend that lead. But, well, a lap and 3/4 to go. There's still a lot of distance to go. Number 4, Robert Dunlop, maintains that 3rd place. But he's 6 seconds down on Dennis McCulloch. So Dennis McCulloch pulling out a little bit. I think that was 3 seconds at the gasoline alley there. Number 4, Robert Dunlop, 7 seconds ahead now of number 7, Gary Dines. Then further back in 5th place, number 2, Darren Lindsay. Back to Jeff for a minute.
Yeah, he's McGuinness in for his fuel, leading the singles, and ahead on the road as well. Changing his visor. And also here's Jason Griffiths. The other 2 will go through, but they'll still be down, but by not quite as much, of course. Be interesting to see what it actually does. And there's a collision, I hear, but it's nothing too serious, and Griffiths is at the pits. Now then, McGuinness is ready to go here, possibility of a win here, but problems with the fuel cap like Bob Jackson, and for the same reason. But it goes in now, and he's ready to go. Griffiths behind him. Barton's gone through on the Ducati. Griffiths is still at the pit here. And is safely refueled and sets off. There was a collision there, but a couple of 125s. And in fact, McGuinness's machine is not restarting, and Griffiths retakes him on the road. There it goes at last, but it must have dropped him, I would say, 30 seconds. And now he has to do it all again. He has to catch Jason Griffiths, and of course it's Swallow and Barton. I still think McGuinness will be able to pick it up over the second 2 laps, but it's certainly not ideal. And have we got any idea what the effect of that was, Tim?
Yeah, John Barton leads by 4 seconds from Griffiths and McGuinness together after McGuinness's trouble.
Okay, you timed them after that push, did you?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, excellent. So a tight race on there then. I think the chrysalis machines will unravel to win it, but it's certainly not good for the heart rate there, as McGuinness's high compression machine declined to go, and Griffiths rattled past him. And at Glen Helen should be quite a sight, because they'll probably be together. Morris.
Yes, indeed, Jeff. Looking forward to that. That was number 17 just going through there, Michael Wilcox. But certainly in the singles there, excitement indeed. And I think it is going to be quite interesting. Certainly by the time they got to Ramsey here, I would have expected that John McGuinness would have been ahead on the road of Jason Griffiths. But all that's changed now. And well, with 9.5 miles before they get to us, it really is going to be a fantastic couple of laps. So let's just have a look back at the 125s again now, because, well, we know that Joey Dunlop's leading that by 28 seconds. There's one now with us, is number 1, Paul Williams. So, doesn't seem to have been too affected by his little off up there at the hairpin. 11 and 14 and 15 absolutely together, so that's a pretty good dice around there. Noel Clegg leading that train through with Phil Harvey and Mark Tittle just behind them. They finished respectively 10th and 11th last year, and well, they're circulating together. Another machine interview 23. Now that's another one we want to look at, Matt Jackson, because he's been consistently fast through here and has moved up, because we know he was nibbling at the end of the first 6. Certainly we'll slot him in when we can, but it's Dunlop with the advantage of 28 seconds over McCulloch. Then in 3rd place, number 4, Robert Dunlop, 6 seconds down on McCulloch, but 7 seconds ahead of number 7, Gary Dines. Gary Dines in turn is 17 seconds ahead of number 2, Darren Lindsay. Darren Lindsay 12 seconds ahead of number 5, Ian Locker. That's 16 and 18 in close proximity there, Neil Richardson and Trevor Ritchie. So 5th place we had number 2, Darren Lindsay, 12 seconds ahead of number 5, Ian Locker, who's in 6th. He in turn has a 17-second advantage over number 17, Michael Wilcox, but then it's pretty close, because there's only 1 second separating Michael Wilcox from Matt Jackson. So Matt Jackson looking as though he could possibly take that 7th place. He's currently lying in 8th, just 1 second down on 7th place man number 17, Michael Wilcox. So there's plenty of excitement further down the leaderboard, but it's Dunlop with a 28-second advantage as number 26 goes through, Chris Gross, who's also having a good run. Very shortly we'll have the singles with us, and we look forward to that. But for the moment, with a 28-second advantage for Dunlop, it's back to the Motorcycle News grandstand.
This race commentary is brought to you by Total, the official fuel suppliers for TT2000. One day, you might meet Carl Fogarty. One day, you'll find the bike of your dreams. One day, you might find that elusive accessory. One day, you may find a show that's actually exciting. The new International Scooter and Motorcycle Show, the NEC Birmingham, from the 10th to the 19th November. The ultimate day out.
When you're at the greatest road racing festival in the world, you need the greatest selection of clothing to mark the event. Make sure you visit the shopping area behind the grandstand. It's open all day, every day, and you'll find the official TT clothing from fleeces to polos, jackets to caps. Plus, there's refreshments available all day. So stop at the shopping centre behind the grandstand.
Temps chronométré corrigé à Glen Helen, en tête toujours le numéro 3, Joey Dunlop, qui a 28 secondes d'avance sur le numéro 6, Dennis McCulloch. Lui, 6 secondes d'avance sur le numéro 4, Robert Dunlop. Et pour les singles, le numéro 51, John Barton, en tête, les numéros 56 et 52 ensemble, après une perte de 30 secondes par le numéro 56 au pit. Peter.
Dankeschön. In Runde 3 bei Glenhenel führt Joey Dunlop Startnummer 3 mit 28 Sekunden Vorsprung vor Startnummer 6, Dennis McCulloch 6 Sekunden hinter McCulloch, Robert Dunlop mit der Startnummer 4 und bei den Einzylindern ist John Barton mit der 51 durchgefahren. Die Startnummern 52 und 56, Jason Griffith und John McGuinness, haben getankt und liegen im Moment 4 Sekunden hinter John Barton. Damit zurück an Peter Neal.
And straight away to Motorcycle News, Ramsey Hairpit.
Where we're about to make the penultimate climb up the mountain. We wait upon your man himself, the Ballymoney Bullet, and here he comes, right on cue. It's going to be a culture shock this afternoon, isn't it, when he gets that lap on the VTR SP1, the 125, probably maximum speed of 145 miles an hour. The VTR this afternoon, maximum speed 195 miles an hour, and the lines totally different to those on the 125. Used to be, many years ago, it doesn't do it quite so much now, if at all, but Joey, when he was riding different machines on different days, would actually go out the night before just to check the circuit over and just to refresh his mind with the different lines, because it's patently different riding a 125 to riding a big super bike, and the lines are dramatically different. He's also a pretty dab hand in cars, is Joey Dunlop, and I tell you what, had he not have made his mark, which he has done with the greatest impact, he certainly could have made his mark on four wheels. Here's Micro, one of the great riders, Robert Dunlop, on the Crossan machine, and we always hear about Joey, don't we? But Robert, he's got his own credentials. There's Darren Lindsay, number 2. We're waiting on number 6. This looks to be here. Stop the watch. 55.1. Take away 30 seconds, and that's 25.1. In fact, he's pulled back a couple of seconds. He's pulled back a couple of seconds on William Joseph. Now, I don't quite know what we read into that. I suspect it may well be that Dennis is speeding up. Certainly his approach up the short incline from Stella Maris, they'd be rattling through there in about 5th gear at 120 mile an hour. It was notably quicker than it was for Joey. This is number 7, Gary Dines, 30-year-old from Maryland, 3rd in the 125 last year. And of course, for Dennis McCulloch, perhaps at the back of his mind will be his position last year, retired whilst holding 2nd last year. And as number 5 goes through Ian Locker, we can tell you that it is 25 seconds the advantage, Joey Dunlop over Dennis McCulloch. No further positions at the moment, so we can pick up with the singles and Maurice Morsley down there at Motorcycle News, Glen Helen.
Yes, thanks, Fred. Well, I can tell you that John McGuinness leads the singles by 37 seconds from number 51, John Barton, who's 3 seconds ahead of 52, Jason Griffiths. Amazingly, Griffiths and McGuinness were together here, although some distance behind John Barton on the road. So after that amazing pit stop with John McGuinness having some problems, he's pulled out quite a lump in 9.5 miles, because McGuinness now leads the race by 37 seconds from John Barton, who's in 2nd. Barton just 3 seconds up on Jason Griffiths, and I'm sure that'll change fairly shortly. So the Chrysalis AMs will be 1 and 2, but it's McGuinness who has it. In 4th place, number 59, Bill Swallow, 21 seconds down on number 52, Jason Griffiths. With that, back to you, Fred, at Ramsey.
Well, we can now shuffle into the lower leaderboard. Gary Dines, 17 seconds down on McCulloch. He's 3rd, number 7, Gary Dines, 3rd. In 4th place it is number 4, Robert Dunlop, but 12 seconds back on Gary, but 7 seconds ahead of the 5th place rider, number 2, Darren Lindsay. Lindsay, in turn, is 11 seconds up on number 5, Ian Locker. Well, 4 times a TT winner, Ian Locker. He ain't going to make it 5 here today. He won the 1:25 last year, got the lap record. I'm wondering whether that lap record will go to Jerry Dunlop. The last flying lap will be his, or the only flying lap will be his last flying lap. He's been into the pits, so it will be lap number 4, where we'll see if we're going to get a lap record. Could indeed go to Dennis McCulloch, because we fancy that Dennis McCulloch now may well be just upping the ball game. He'd brought that little gap down by a couple of seconds from 28, well, 3 seconds down to 25 seconds on the run, which is 15 miles. It's not a huge amount, I know, but 3 seconds on the 15 miles. They're very challenging, they're very aggressive, they're very physical 15 miles, and boy, on these 125s it is oh so bumpy. Oft times the rider would be hooking their feet under the pegs to actually hold them in the saddle as they're trundling down through the Glenduff-Glentrammon section and on their way down toward the Milltown and the approach toward Ramsey. Jerry Dunlop, well, remember that his exhibition of all of his trophies, many of the leathers that he's worn over the years, his helmets, at Summerland here on the Isle of Man, and that is open on non-race days, and it's been termed as the best £5 worth on the island. So make sure you get down there. There's Michael Wilcox, number 17. Michael, as I say, 33 years of age, on the Graham Adams Honda. Michael Wilcox, he's a racing school instructor at Donington and at Cadwell when he's not riding motorcycles, and going to the cinema at half price and doing his paper round in the morning and all sorts of things like that. Can we shuffle any more in, Patrick? Not at the moment. Who are we waiting on then? We will be waiting on Michael Wilcox to go in there, but we're waiting on number 23, Matt Jackson. So I suspect that Wilcox will go in there in that 7th place, but we've got to wait on Matt Jackson. There was just a second between those two. Well, here is number 14 on a very quick line around the outside, and that is Phil Harvey. Number 11, next one up, and that is Noah Clegg on the Hellfire Bike Assist Racing machine. That's the one that young Kenny Robinson is riding in the British Championships back home on the mainland. Well, I don't think we can shuffle any more in after the top 6. There's number 23. We can now though. Just waiting for Matt Jackson to arrive here, which he now has done. And we can tell you that Joey Dunlop then 25 seconds up on Dennis McCulloch. In 3rd place, 17 seconds back, it's Dines, who is 12 seconds up on number 4, Robert Dunlop. 7 seconds up on number 2, Lindsay, who is 5th. In 6th place it is number 5, Ian Locker, 11 seconds back. And then 27 seconds back, we get Matt Jackson, who has now moved ahead of number 17, Michael Wilcox, by just 4 seconds. So that's the news from Motorcycle News Ramsey Hairpin. We go ahead to the Motorcycle News Grandstand.
This race commentary is brought to you by Total, the official fuel suppliers for TT2000. Come and meet all the Yamaha stars at Road and Track this Thursday the 8th. Michael Rutter, Jason Griffith, Steve Hislop and David Jeffries will all be there. Make sure you are. Plus, there's a fantastic free prize draw to win the brand spanking new Yamaha Slider. Be there. Road and Track Motorcycles, June the 8th, Tynwald Street, Douglas.
One day, you might meet Carl Fogarty. One day, you'll find the bike of your dreams. One day, you might find that elusive accessory. One day, you may find a show that's actually exciting. The new International Scooter and Motorcycle Show, the NEC Birmingham, from the 10th to the 19th November. The ultimate day out.
Yeah, there is still activity down in the pits with the higher numbers in the singles class. That's number 83 down there, Robert J. Price, and number 87. And that is Marc Granier from France with the BMW Bimoto 650. And they're down having their pits. I can tell you Joey's on his way. But just a note on number 28, Carl Johan. You may have noticed he's wearing a red jacket over his leathers, and that's simply because he's a newcomer. During practice, the newcomers all wear the red jackets. And qualification, any newcomer to the course is allowed a 90-second over the qualifying time, and will qualify. He's given that 90 seconds, but if he uses the 90 seconds, he has to wear the red jacket, and that's why number 28, Carl Johan, is the only one in the race today with a red jacket. He used up his 90 seconds to get into the qualifying time to race in the 1:25. So that's a little bit of information for people around the course who may just be wondering, why has he got a red jacket on over his leathers? Well, we've still got a patch of blue sky above us. That's a good sign, although it is looking fairly grey. And we're waiting now for Joey. What speed will he go through the trap this time? Will it be faster or slower than last time? The board is out, so this must be Joey. Here he is, just a glimpse between the trees. Here he is, Joey Dunlop. Across the line now, we start the watch, and he goes through slower, 120.7. 120.7. We've got quite a while to wait now before number 6. Dennis McCulloch in second place. He's had a number of top 3 places, but never quite made it to the top step. So Joey is through safely, some 20 seconds now since he crossed the line. And number 4 and 2 and 7 all on their way down from Cronknamona to complete the third lap with your 37.73 miles to go when they reach here. Just listening for the sound of the next machine, the trees. We just get a glimpse of them between the trees before they come into our view, just around about the top of Police Station Road. And here's the second machine. And it's number 4. Robert is through safely, holding on to that third place. And here's McCulloch now ahead of Lindsay. They're in very close company, 121.3 they do. And Lindsay trying to get past McCulloch as they go down to the top of Bray Hill, but doesn't quite make it. I stopped my watch there on 55.5 seconds, subtract 30, 25 seconds. The advantage for Joey exactly the same as it was at Ramsey on the third lap. 25 seconds that Joey leads with just 1 lap to go for another hat-trick of victories in the Isle of Man TT races. There's number 7, that's Gary Dines. He's safely through. And just checking now for some times, and Joey had a lap of 21 minutes 33.2, 105.03. That, of course, included his pit stop as number 5 Ian Locker goes through on the TSB machine. Joey is averaging 107.23 for the race if he has a flying lap. The race record is 107.89. Could it happen? It may do. We'll find shortly, but now we take a break.
This race commentary is brought to you by Total, the official fuel suppliers for TT2000. Tango to Tesco Douglas during the TT Festival, and you'll find there's 20% off all Chilean wine and a staggering 25% off when you buy 6. Tesco, every little helps.
Willkommen auf der Insel Man und ihren kilometerlangen Straßen. Lassen Sie sich Zeit beim Betrachten der Landschaft und beim Fahren. Berücksichtigen Sie die Rechte der anderen Verkehrsteilnehmer und fahren Sie links. Dies ist eine Nachricht von der Verkehrssicherheit und Kingsmead Finance.
The first 3 at the end of lap 3, Joey Dunlop, as we said, with a lap at 105.03, leading by 25.1 seconds. In second place, number 6, Dennis McCulloch. He is 11.4 seconds ahead of number 4, and that is Robert Dunlop. But of course, we're waiting for number 7 to come in to those times into third place. Back to Motorcycle News, Ramsey.
Yes, we can tell you, Peter, that last time through it was John McGuinness increasing his advantage now to 43 seconds ahead of number 52 in second place, and that is Jason Griffiths, who is plus 13 seconds up on John Barton. That's how close the top 3 are. McGuinness 43 seconds up on Jason Griffiths, number 52, who is 13 seconds up on John Barton. Barton in turn 21 seconds up on the other guy that went straight through, and that is Bill Swallow. So that's the top 4, 56, 52, 51, 59, the only numbers we have at this moment. So back to you, Peter Neal, at the Motorcycle News Grandstand.
And indeed, number 4, Robert Dunlop, is in third place. He had a quicker lap than number 7, Gary Dines. He's 11.4 seconds down on Dennis McCulloch. In turn, number 7, Gary Dines, is 9.3 seconds down on Robert. In fifth place, number 2, Darren Lindsay, 19 seconds down on Gary Dines. So 3, 6, 4, 7, 2. What did we say at the beginning? The winner would come numbers between 1 and 7. Well, we've got 5 of them in the top 5. So that's not bad, is it? 107.23 then the average for Joey Dunlop at the end of lap 3. He lapped at 105.03, McCulloch 104.83, Robert 104.52, Dines 103.91, and Darren Lindsay 103.50. So 25.1 seconds, exactly the same as it was at Ramsey on the third lap. Numbers 11, 15 and 17. 17 there's Michael Wilcox, but he just seems to be dropping off the pace a little, overtaken by number 23, Matt Jackson. We noticed also that the local rider, Chris Gross, number 26, was holding on to 10th place at the end of the previous lap, so he's having a good run with that, what did Jeff say, £4,500 snip? Not running badly for him, although it cost him as much again, as he says, to run it for half a season. But nevertheless, in the top 10 and in with a shout for a silver replica. 14 and 15 still circulating together. Phil Harvey and Mark Tyrrell there through. Number 11 follows them. That's Noel Clegg. I think it's time now that we went off to Motorcycle News Glen Helen.
Yes, thank you, Peter. This isn't he. This is one refugee, I think, but the second one is. Here's Dunlop now, so he's getting into the back of the singles, but Dunlop safely through here. Same line again. Magnificent. Number 87. That's the last starter. In fact, Mark Granny, who's reported having his pit, and number 76 also, another of the singles, Carl Wilkie. Carl, who was originally posted as a non-starter, but as a starter. But Dunlop safely negotiated those back markers, or later runners, shall we say, and he's negotiated the 9.5 miles to Glen Helen for the fourth and final time, and he still leads, and he's absolutely brilliant. Number 3. Joey Dunlop safely through here. Not another machine of the 125s yet with us. So will he have extended that advantage once again? And is the lap and race record really in jeopardy? 107.23. I think the 107.89 is the record for is Robert Dunlop. So he's still through here, but probably dropping time 6 and 2. Together there, Dennis McCulloch just ahead of Darren Lindsay on the road. Lindsay, I think we had in corrected position of 5th place, but Joey Dunlop, number 3, safely through here and long gone before the other 4 or 5 125s go through here. And certainly number 4, Robert Dunlop, in 2nd place on the road, so it's a Dunlop 1-2 on the road in the 125 race. And another tremendous performance by that man, going for win number 26. He had a little bit of bad luck in this race last year. Number 7 is next, Gary Dines. Good run by Gary, certainly, and well, he's still holding on to that 4th place. I think he had 3rd for a while, but slipped that. Dunlop's lead 26 seconds, so about the same, 1 second more. Maybe there's Ian Locker in perfect conditions here, so Locker also safely through for his 4th and final time. But it's number 3, Dunlop, who leads from number 6, Dennis McCulloch. Looks as though this could be another runner-up spot for Dennis. Got his first runner-up spot back in 1994 in the ultra lightweight, and guess who won that day? Yes, runner-up to Joey Dunlop. In fact, he led this race in 97 before the current lap record holder, Ian Locker, had that fantastic last lap to achieve that lap record and take the win, which relegated Dennis to 2nd place yet again. And it looks as though that's the position he's going to finish in once more. Dennis McCulloch, 26 seconds down on Joey Dunlop, but he's 14 seconds ahead of number 4, Robert Dunlop, so beginning to secure that 2nd place with the 14-second advantage over number 4, Robert Dunlop. Then 10 seconds back on that is number 7, Gary Dines, maintaining that 4th place. 17 seconds ahead of number 2, Darren Lindsay, and Darren Lindsay and Dennis McCulloch pretty well together on the road. So it's been a good race in improving conditions. We're pleased to be able to have got this one in, and certainly after the first very tentative lap when they came here following the shower that occurred just before the start of the race today, conditions have improved and dried, and of course that's been reflected in the speeds. So 17 seconds, number 7 in 4th place, Gary Dines, has that advantage over 5th place man number 2, Darren Lindsay, who in turn has a 17 seconds ahead of number 5, Ian Locker. There's number 9, still circulating well, Gary Bennett. We await numbers, Michael Wilcox, number 17, and Matt Jackson, number 23. They've been having a pretty good battle, although not together on the road, certainly in terms of corrected time, and it seems as though Matt Jackson's beginning to win that. There was just 1 second between them on the previous lap here at Glen Helen, and since then we know that Matt Jackson has reversed that position and has pulled out a bit of an advantage over Michael Wilcox. So there's still a lot left in this race, and of course there's a lot left in the singles. That's certainly been exciting, to say the least. I know we haven't kept too much of an eye on that with the 125s are going past us at the different times, but number 56, John McGuinness, really got that Chrysalis AMDM going well there, and despite the fact that Jason led the practice leaderboard by quite a margin come race day, and John McGuinness clearly has it within that, and he's a big man, but certainly he's managing to move that Chrysalis AMDM around this circuit very well indeed. Jason Griffiths, no answer to him really, despite the fact that John McGuinness lost a lot of time with his pit stop, allegedly something in the order of 30 seconds, so he's pulled that back very quickly indeed. Another of the 125s here is one of the men we're looking for, Michael Wilcox. No mean rider, of course. He was 6th last year, was Michael, and currently lying, we believe, in about 7th place, ahead of number 23, Matt Jackson. And, well, some little while, I suppose, before Matt Jackson is due with us. I don't know whether we can get him on this broadcast, but I can tell you for the 4th and final time in the 125 that Joey Dunlop leads by 26 seconds. That's just 1 second further than it was Dennis McCulloch in 2nd place. Just checking those, 14 and 15 together, Phil Harvey and Mark Tyrrell, followed by 23. There's Matt Jackson, so he's safely through here. But the news from Glen Helen is that it's an extended advantage, 26 seconds. Dunlop leads from McCulloch. With that, back to the Motorcycle News grandstand.
This race commentary is brought to you by Total, the official fuel suppliers for TT2000. Come and meet all the Yamaha stars at Road and Track this Thursday the 8th. Michael Rutter, Jason Griffith, Steve Hislop and David Jeffries will all be there. Make sure you are. Plus, there's a fantastic free prize draw to win the brand spanking new Yamaha Slider. Be there. Road and Track Motorcycles, June the 8th, Tynwald Street, Douglas.
Manx law means only pure ingredients can be used in brewing fine Manx beers. If you want to join in the great festival atmosphere and sample a beer or two, the message is pure and simple. Put the car, van or bike away before you do. This message is brought to you by Kingsmead Finance and the Road Safety Officer.
Après 3 tours en tête à Glen Helen, le numéro 3, Joey Dunlop, 26 secondes sur le numéro 6, Dennis McCulloch, 11,4 secondes d'avance sur le numéro 4, Robert Dunlop. Et pour les singles, en tête, le numéro 56, John McGuinness, 40 secondes d'avance sur le numéro 52, Jason Griffiths. Lui, 25,5 secondes d'avance sur le numéro 51, John Barton. Peter.
Dankeschön, Mavis. Bei den 125ern führt hier bei Start und Ziel nach der 3. Runde Joey Dunlop mit 25,1 Sekunden Vorsprung vor Startnummer 6 Dennis McCulloch. McCulloch 11,4 Sekunden vor Startnummer 4 Robert Dunlop. Und bei den Einzylindern Startnummer 56 John McGuinness 40,1 Sekunden vor Startnummer 52 Jason Griffith. Griffith 25,5 Sekunden Vorsprung vor Startnummer 51 John Barton. Und damit zurück an Peter Neal.
The order at the end of lap 3 for the singles TT was John McGuinness, number 56, was leading by 40.1 seconds from number 52, Jason Griffiths. Griffiths in turn was 25.5 seconds ahead of number 51, Johnny Barton. Johnny Barton 27.9 seconds ahead of number 59, Bill Swallow. Bill, I think, was second in this race last year, currently holding on to 4th. So it was 56, 52, 51, 59. Those positions have been fairly static for the last 2 laps at least. 40.1 seconds then, John McGuinness leads from Jason Griffiths, 3rd Johnny Barton and 4th Bill Swallow. But now for the 4th and final time in this race, let's go over to Motorcycle News, Ramsey Hairpin.
Well, I hope the marshals up on the mountain by the gooseneck are on the board, because number 66 Mark, number 66 in the, that was John Reed went through with his exhaust dangling right on the outside of his machine, so he certainly needs to be stopped and pulled in. Well, let's have a look and see what we've got here now with Joey Dunlop. There is Joey. But that exhaust was trailing way to the right-hand side of the machine of number 66 as he came through Ramsey Hairpin. Joey is through the hairpin for the 4th and final lap, looking for win number 26 for South. Looking, according to my reckoning, I think that we make it win number 113 for Honda is what this would be. But let's have a quick word back then with Morris down at Glen Helen.
Yes, indeed. We've got 56 and 52 circulating together, and obviously that's where they were at the grandstand, because that would make it 40.1 or 41 seconds between them, and in 3rd place John Barton. So they've gone through Glen Helen for their 4th and final time, and the lead remains the same. McGuinness by 40.1 seconds from Griffiths. In 3rd place 51 John Barton. We await for Swallow. With that, back to you, Frederick Ramsey.
And we await. There is Dennis McCulloch. There is Dennis McCulloch going through there now, and I reckon second, that was, what, about 55 seconds, so take that away, that would be, no, that can't be right, can it? What have we got there? 21 seconds, that's it. 21 seconds is the advantage. Well, it has come down another 3 seconds, but Joey will be placing himself on this one. 21 seconds is the advantage to Joey Dunlop over Dennis the Menace. Dennis will be thinking to himself, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, I was here last year and retired from second place on the last lap. The boy that finished runners-up in the 250 Irish Road Race Championship of last year, he'll be looking to get home on this one, albeit quite some ways behind the master, and he is totally that this year, is he not? Well, all of the analogies, all of the cliches, it's all been thrown together. What more can you say about the man who is so utterly brilliant? Is he going to break the record? Well, we've seen Philip McCallum get 4 wins. I wonder, can Joey Dunlop get 5 wins? What a rapid approach from Ian Locker. That really is short circuit stuff with a vengeance. The silkily lubricated Lloyd's TSB Honda. And, well, it's like he's on a bank job, not going to put money in, but trying to get away the speed at which he came up the run through Stella Maris. Certainly the quickest of those leading runners on the approach up toward us here. McCulloch then 17 seconds up on Robert Dunlop. Robert has a reasonably secure 9 seconds over Gary Dines, although we did say that once before when, remember, Mark Baldwin stole it on the final run down from Mint Lofthouse on the run down the mountain. He was leading by 6 seconds here at Ramsey Hairpin, was Mint Lofthouse, and Mark Baldwin stole it on that run down the mountain. But is that 9 seconds enough for Robert? I suspect that the pit boards, I know he's got the boards up at Windy Corner, or as they say across there, Wanda Corner. He's a quick man. Well, it's a very quick man that's leading this one, and that is William Joseph. William Joseph, MBE, OBE, Honorary Knight of the Isle of Man. Poor old Norrie White was getting his ear bent by a very enthusiastic Ulsterman last evening down at the saddle, and said, well, what's this Fred Clark talking about? Give Joey Dunlop a knighthood? That's demoting the man. He's already the Pope. He's a Pope. He can walk on water. He's marvellous. Well, we wouldn't argue against that, would we?
Fred, I just heard news that number 59, Bill Swallow, is retired at Ballagary. 59, the 4th place man in the singles, out at Ballagary.
And I suppose one would immediately raise a question mark there as to how, was there enough fuel on board? He was quite confident, 22-litre tank, and reckoned that it would take 18 litres for 4 laps. So I think that it's probably, we can dismiss that one from our minds. The fact that Bill Swallow, who finished second in the singles race last year, I think that perhaps is not lack of fuel. Well, who's this coming up toward us? Is another little yellowish helmet, number 9. Gary Bennett. Good, confident act is Gary Bennett. Dunlop Tires there, was leading last year's TT, finished 6th in 1998. We're going to shuffle him in lower down, but Joey Dunlop 21 seconds up on Dennis McCulloch, who is 17 seconds up on Robert Dunlop, who is 9 seconds up on Gary Dines. Dines running in 4th place. In 5th place then, it is Darren Lindsay, some 15 seconds down on Dines, but 24 seconds ahead of number 5, Ian Locker. Those positions look to be reasonably set. I'm just looking to see what it was between Dines and Robert at the start and down at Glen Helen. Well, I think that Robert's got this one under control. He would have wanted a win, would Robert, on the Cross and Motorcycles, but I tell you what, Robert Dunlop, he can hold his head up high alongside perhaps his more famous brother Robert, twice third in the Formula 1 World Championships, 125 British champion, and he also came to the TT and won the 125 and 250 just 2 weeks after being bumped to earth in a 125 event at Donington Park when he and Rob Orme had a coming together, and Robert suffered a broken collarbone. Runner-up in the Motorcycle News British Superbike Series, Robert Dunlop on the JPS Rotary Norton, also second at Macau on the 500 Rock Grand Prix Yamaha, and then of course that horrendous accident of 1994, but Robert Dunlop came back to beat the Isle of Man circuit. Number 17 goes through then, the very neat stylish Michael Wilcox on the Graham Adams Honda. So for the 4th and final time with regard to the 125s, we don't want to miss the checkered flag. We can tell you Joey Dunlop 21 seconds ahead of number 6 Dennis McCulloch, 17 seconds up on Robert Dunlop, and then 9 seconds back Gary Dines. With that, we go ahead then to the Motorcycle News Grandstand.
This race commentary is brought to you by Total, the official fuel suppliers for TT 2000. Tango to Tesco Douglas during the TT Festival, and you'll find there's 20% off all Chilean wine and a staggering 25% off when you buy 6. Tesco, every little helps.
L'île de Man accueille les accros du deux roues, ceux qui adorent l'atmosphère de la course au top niveau et apprécient l'habileté des pilotes qui négocient à très grande vitesse nos routes sinueuses. Mais attention, vous n'avez que la moitié de la route à votre disposition. Ne jouez pas avec la vitesse et restez sur la gauche. Un message de la sécurité routière et de Kingsmead Finance.
Want to win a race replica Kawasaki ZX-7R? Well, simply pull into any Total service station over the TT Festival, get out your TT 2000 Clubman card and ask for full details. Pick up your TT Clubman card at all Total service stations and ShopRite stores island-wide, and you could be a TT 2000 winner with ShopRite and Total.
A list of retirements from the ultra-lightweight race. Number 12, Barry Wood, retired at Quarterbridge. Number 20, Alan Bud Jackson, retired at Quarterbridge. He's making his own way back. 22, Ted Roebuck, retired at the pits. 31, Jimmy Rogers, retired at the 32nd milestone. And number 35, John Vincent, retired at the pits. On to the singles TT, number 58, Steve Day, retired at Graham's. 60, Rich Hawkins, retired at the pits. 63, Dennis Gallagher, retired just past the Highlander. 69, Andrew Marsden, retired at Kirkmichael. 70, Anthony Shortland, retired at Selby Village. 73, Henry Bell, retired at Brandywell. Number 74, Andy Wilson, retired at the Hawthorn, and number 79, Stephen Murray, retired at Parliament Square in Ramsey. So those are the retirements in the ultra-lightweight and singles TT, but Joey is on his way. That's number 71, Terry McGinty, with a Harris Suzuki 750 just on his way for his fourth and final lap. But Joey will be coming into view very shortly. The weather's improved tremendously. The sun will be glinting on the fairings, and we'll be welcoming win number 26 for, well, there's no more you can say about Joey Dunlop. Is there? A legend in his own lifetime, and a hat-trick again. His previous ones were 1985 and 1988. Then he had that spill at Brands Hatch, missed the 89 TT, came back and started winning races again. And this looks very much like him. It is indeed. Let's hear it, for he's the man himself. Joey Dunlop crosses the line now. We start the watch. Whether it's needed this time, we don't know. We don't think so, but we'll count it down anyway for the 30 seconds. I can tell you that the man who's chasing him, Dennis McCulloch, number 6, is indicated a crunk pneumonia, but he's got to be here in the next 15 seconds to snatch victory from Joey Dunlop. Win number 26 in 25 years of racing. We were contemplating that if he got to 25, that would be a remarkable, but to win 3 in a row for the third time in his career, and I've been privileged to commentate on every one of his hat tricks, and he just seems to get better and better, and there's 38 seconds gone now, so it doesn't matter about the watch. Joey Dunlop wins race number 26. Let's go down to Jeff for the atmosphere.
Sure to be a tremendous cheer here as he swings in for the third time this week as a victor, and here he comes! And the little 125 pulls in right by me, and it's the 26th victory. What a fabulous man. He remembers to switch off the ignition. How controlled. Roger Harvey congratulates him. The gang, Bob McMillan and all the rest are here. Off come the gloves again. They look a bit tight today, those. They're caught on the Velcro. And what a man it is. And every prospect of winning on Friday as well. To say nothing of this afternoon, but more likely the possibility of Friday. 3 more rides to go, of course. Well done, Joey Dunlop, yet again. How do you do it?
I don't know.
Any problems?
No, none at all. No, the bike went perfect.
You know very shortly after you set off whether it's going right, don't you? Because not every time it does.
I know by the time I get about on Bray Hill. So that gave me a good heart to ride hard then.
But you didn't really have much competition today. It's still a hard ride, though. 4 laps on the 125. It's quite a thrash, isn't it?
Aye, it has indeed, because you're stretched up very hard, you know, and then my knees got up, so...
What were the conditions like? Was it damp the first quarter of a lap?
No, it was all right, no. Stayed on, perfect.
Good visibility?
Oh, aye, no problems at all.
Well, you're getting to know this winning caper a bit, and you've got every possibility of another one, which would make a record 4 for you.
I'm starting to get tired.
I'm sure you are. Okay, Joey's getting a bit tired, but he's getting a lot of acclamation here as we let the rest move in. And here's Robert, who is third. And the first 5 are Irish, of course. What would we do without them? It's Locker who is the first non-Irish rider in the 125. Robert, a good try, but not quite.
No, not quite enough.
The years go by, eh?
They don't seem to go by for Joey.
What do you put it down to? How does the man do it?
I don't know. I've no idea.
You had a good go, and it's second place to Dennis, I think.
Yeah, Dennis was riding very well, so, yeah.
Any problems?
No problems, no.
So just satisfied for third then, if you couldn't quite get cracking. Was the bike a bit slower? Wasn't through here, it was the same speed. In fact, I think it was a mite faster than Joey's.
Yeah, no, my bike was going okay. No, down to the man.
Okay. And Dennis is a very good second place. Well done.
Aye, well, got her home.
But that man, Joey Dunlop, just prevents everybody from winning anything else.
I know, he's getting a bit of a habit with him, isn't it?
Okay, did you have a good ride?
Ah, yeah, enjoyed it. Wee bike went well. Couldn't fault it at all. Thanks to Clive Podgett, lent me a few parts there, and it worked perfect.
I think Darren Lindsay tucked in for a tow too.
Yeah, Darren tucked in for a tow, got in front for a bit, tucked in for a tow again. That was interesting.
But there's no way he was coming back because you'd already caught him on the road, and sense tells you just stick in and sit put.
Yeah, well, that was it. Like, Darren's wee bike was going well, and he was able to come past now and again. Then I was able to pass him again through some of the twisty parts, so that worked all right.
But you only saw Joey at the start and the end.
I just seen him heading down Bray Hill to start there, or Glen Crutchley Road, so that was a fair play to him.
Okay, so to split the brothers is good.
Aye, well, keep in between them.
Brings a few quid in.
They can't have a monopoly all the time.
Brings a few quid in.
Aye, well, help pay a few of the bills.
I was just remarking there, though, 5 Irish riders, first to fifth.
Yeah, it just shows we're not out of it yet.
I don't know what we'd do without a lot of you. Anyway, well done.
Hey, thanks.
Okay, those are the top 3, Peter.
Right, thanks, Jeff. Let's take a look now at the scoreboard for numbers 56. They're indicated as safely through Ramsey, but 18 minutes and 3 seconds since they started the lap, so there's no panic yet. They're not due for a little while, which gives me time to give you the official details for the ultra-lightweight race at the end of the 4 laps. Yes, Jeff?
Tim O'Hanlon's just drawn my attention to the fact that the clocks don't seem to be moving with McGuinness.
Well, that's true.
Also, a note that I should have put to Joey, we'll get the chance later on, he was elected president of the TT Riders Association last night.
And I can't think of a better man to be that, can you?
No, and especially this week.
Yeah,
and the crowd's still surrounding him, but what about McGuinness? Is he in difficulty?
Well, the clock hasn't moved, certainly. We haven't heard anything, but he was okay at Ramsey, and he's indicated us through Ramsey, so it's on the climb that there may be a problem, which I'm sure we'll be checking on very shortly.
Griffiths' clock has moved. Is it the bungalow, the point?
Yes, it is, yeah.
So he has moved his clock.
Yeah, but McGuinness hasn't.
I don't think we should cause alarm on that just yet.
No, we're just sort of going to check on that in a moment, Jeff. Anyway, the winner of the ultralight number 3, Joey Dunlop, a final lap of 21 minutes 10.8, 106.88, a race time of 1 hour 24 minutes 30.8, 107.14. Second, number 6, Dennis McCulloch, a final lap of 20 minutes 1.8, 107.64, race time 1 hour 24 minutes 46.9, 106.80. McGuinness's light is on. The clock didn't move, but the light is on, indicating he's at Cronknamona, so panic over for that. So it looks like John McGuinness is going to take the Chrysalis AMDM to victory here, and we'll go back to that leaderboard in a moment for the ultra lightweight, because we want to get the winner of the singles TTN. This is one of the that's Chris Gross, actually, finishing in about 10th place. We've been told, and I don't believe this, but it must be true, I've been told spectators are on the road at the exit to Ballast Spur, one of the most dangerous places they could be. Please don't walk on the course anywhere. Ballast Spur, spectators on the course. It's against the law. It can be a heavy fine. The roads are officially closed. We're waiting now, though, for number 56, John McGuinness. The light is also on for Jason Griffiths, number 52. It's another of the 1-2-5s finishing, number 60. But here he is, John McGuinness, across the line, and he gets victory. We just wouldn't associate him with the big Chrysalis machine. He's a 250 man, but he also rides the SB1, of course, so he must be used to them. But it's great to see him actually winning, and if Jason can hold on to that second place and give it a 1-2, what a great boost for the Morris family, the two boys who come back to racing, and they must be absolutely delighted that they've decided to come back and continue where their late father left off, having won the singles race for 3 years. He should be, in fact, there's a couple of bikes, well, one being pushed up, two being ridden up, And here he is. Let's go down to Jeff.
Okay, 3-1-2-5s lead up John McGuinness, his second victory, denying Jason, who would have been extremely popular, but no reason to suggest otherwise for John McGuinness, who pulls up, and that is the best tribute that the team reconstituted after that tragedy of last year could possibly provide. First, and we think probably second as well. And here is Jason just behind, but of course with a lower number is obviously behind on time, but a good second position there, and the two Chrysalis machines do it. Well done, John McGuinness. Fabulous.
Oh, brilliant. Bike never missed a beat from word go. Absolutely awesome. Just me cocked up in the pit stop. I never switched the ignition back on there.
Is that why it wouldn't go then? I thought it was because it was stuck on, you'd gone over compression, top dead centre.
No, I just been practicing the starts. And,
Thank you.
So that was just to sort of put a bit of spice in the race, was it?
I never switched it on. That's the only drama in the race. But the two boys asked me over the winter if I would like to ride the bike, and everybody else agreed to foot the team and provided me with a winning bike, and the least I could do was bring it home at the front for the boys.
Must be an extremely emotional moment for them. I say, you must feel it. You don't know whether you should celebrate or not.
Oh,
I think you might as well.
I'm celebrating. This is AMDM bike, and this is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. These guys have been brilliant. We can't doubt their enthusiasm, their commitment. They've been absolutely excellent, and this has really helped. This is brilliant. Thank you, John.
Okay, Jason, wonderful result, really.
Yeah, brilliant result for the team. John had a fantastic ride. Obviously, there was no staying with him, so we had a good pit stop, and I tried to hang in with John, and he dragged me back onto John Barton, and that was it then.
I suppose you thought, really, I don't know whether you spotted him struggling to restart, did you, as you set out from the pits? You must have thought then perhaps I'm on for it.
Yeah, I seen they'd missed the first start, but obviously they were getting it ready to go again, so I just got the head down and tried to get going.
So pleased with that. That win hasn't quite come yet, but having a good week.
Yeah, good finish. Pleased with that. As I say, John was just far too quick on the day, so good result for the team to get both bikes home.
And the two bikes stopping for fuel didn't make any difference. You were enough ahead to overcome the Ducati, which seemed a bit down on power today, only 106, whereas he did 112 on it last year. He might have been nursing it.
Yeah, when I went back out of the pits, I could see John Barton up in front, and as I say, John McGuinness dragged me onto him again, and then I knew it was safe, really.
Okay, well, you've got to ride again now, haven't you?
Yeah, we're out on the General Guarantee Triumph this afternoon in the Junior, so we'll see how we go on that.
What's it like?
Your bike's, it's obviously in its early days, it's early in its development, so we're struggling a bit for power, but the chassis is working well, so maybe we could have done with a odd shower this afternoon, but I don't think we're going to get it.
I think your father would say to you, this is a ride a bit like the way he used to ride the singles, and fantastic to finish second on it, especially a 1-2 for this emotionally led team.
Yeah, fantastic result for the team. It couldn't have been any better.
Okay, well worth doing, even if you don't get anything out of it other than satisfaction.
That's right, it was great, yeah.
Okay, thanks Jason, and to John, and somewhere is Johnny Barton, I should imagine. At the bottom end, I think. Let me just squeeze through between the two bikes, which have finished first and second. And John, it's not a win, but at least it's home for the first time.
That's it, Jeff. I mean, after the practice week we've had with it, the boys have worked so hard getting it prepared and whatnot, so I'm just delighted it's finished for everyone. And yeah, back on the podium again. So we'll have to just come back again.
Okay, but your lap times are well down on last year. Were you easing it off a bit to make sure it didn't blow?
No, from the start it ran at 90 degrees, so we've still got a problem with the head, and consequently because of that it didn't pull the gear in, so it was just hard work.
Yeah, what about your initial appraisal of the course? I know you were worried about the damp to Glen Helen first lap.
Yeah, it was only really the first lap that was a problem. Unfortunately, we came into Ballacrane and there was someone off, which it just put me off right through Glen Helen section. So I got off to a bit of a slow start, but second and third, fourth lap, it was fine through there, really.
But in fact, the tactic of going straight through now, with those bikes being so much quicker, wouldn't have quite worked anyway, would it? I mean, fair enough to try it, but there isn't enough time to be picked up with a non-stop run like there used to be at that speed you were going.
No, it wasn't at the speed we were going today. If I could have done the times I was doing last year, 112s, then yes, it'll definitely win it. So we just have to get the bike
Okay, well, Bill Swallow, he tried the same thing, but he conked out at Balagari. But it's nice to be in here. I think it's a good effort, really, because not the easiest of bikes to ride if you were in that difficulty. And you must have been looking at the temperature gauge, thinking, is it going to overheat completely and seize?
Yeah, I know. Every lap I just kept glancing down. It was anywhere between 90 and 100. Across the mountain it cooled back down to 90, but I was just fingers crossed.
What should it be, 60 or 70 or something?
Should be around 65, yeah.
Okay, well, it's done well to hang together then. It's ironic, really, that it hangs together when it's overheating, and yet the other times it's gone when it was normal.
I know, it's just our luck, isn't it?
Maybe that's the trick. Okay, well done, boys. Those are the top three in the singles.
Thanks, Jeff. Just continue then with the leaderboard for the ultra lightweight. We got down to the third place, number 4, Robert Dunlop, a lap in 21 minutes 11.5, 106.82. Race time 1 hour 25 minutes 8.0, 106.36, 21 seconds down on the second place man. And I think we're into gear for the garlanding presentation. Joey there is chatting away with Harold Crooks, getting the scoop, but we want him up on the we've got 2 garlanding ceremonies to perform, of course, because 2 separate races, and then the 600 junior this afternoon, of which a lot of these boys will be competing. So I think as the riders go across, we're ready now, and we can say, please greet the first 3 with the fanfare. The one and only Joey Dunlop. Runner-up once again, Dennis McCulloch. And third place for Robert Dunlop. And the garlanding ceremony for this race being carried out by Mr. Jim Parker, who is the chairman of the ACU Road Race Committee and head of organisation for the TT races. Firstly, to the third finisher, that's Robert Dunlop, and the green hat, which he pops on. Dennis McCulloch on the rostrum once again, surely a win for him in the not too distant future. Blue for him, and there here, Joey Dunlop says he only collects red hats. He's now got 26 of them, and what an amazing character he is. As fit and as friendly as ever. A really tremendous TT rider, Joey Dunlop. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem. And now for the moment, the champagne. Of course, a couple of the riders will be out in the 600 race, which is coming up shortly, to see who wins the Battle of the Champagne today. I reckon that's about Joey Dunlop's 96th start, his 26th win, and Jim Parker taking the advice of Don Ryder and moving down pretty quickly down the circular staircase. Is he going to heaven? Yes, Jim has won. He's away before the champagne. I was saying, Joey, 96 starts, 26 victories, and I reckon on my count that's something like 71 silver replicas and just 7 bronze. And how many bottles of champagne, I just don't know. The presentation evening tonight is going to be another riot. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Joey Dunlop. Second place man, Dennis McCulloch. And the third finisher, Robert Dunlop. Yes, there's been books written about Joey, there's been articles written about Joey, I think every word you could imagine, but he just doesn't change. He is an absolutely fantastic man, and one of the friendliest riders, always stops to chat to the fans. and he's just, as we say, a legend in his own lifetime.
Keep up to date with Manx Radio's dedicated motorsport website, motorsport.manxradio.com, your one-stop shop for news, travel, road closures and racing schedules. You can also step into Manx Radio 1368's 60-year motorsport archive, including interviews with your favourite riders, race highlights from yesteryear, and our collection of motorsport videos and podcasts. motorsport.manxradio.com, the home for motorsport on the Isle of Man, from the best biking station in the world, Manx Radio 1368.